This page is the front cover of the magazine, very colourful and striking like they used to be back in the day. Big bold Nintendo logo, can't miss that. It's pushing Rally as the main game, billing it as N64's first real racer skids in, which is a bit of a dig at Ridge Racer 64, probably fair enough. You've also got Banjo-Kazooie flagged up with new secrets inside. Everyone loved that game. Classic rare platforming. F-Zero X is there too. P16, so a feature inside. Seriously fast futuristic racing. Proper adrenaline rush. Then there's ISS 98, massive review, International Superstar Soccer, or Pro Evo as it became later. And Winback is mentioned, cool new Blast Fest. Page 110, probably some action shooter. Up top it's got the usual magazine blurb, official, always first, biggest and the best, bit boastful, and listing features like news, previews, exclusive games, game guides, every N64 game tested, pads and packs, and tips the works basically. All for £2.95. Seemed expensive back then. Overall, a good snapshot of what the N64 was all about at the time. The next page is a full-page advert, and it's for Banjo-Kazooie. You will believe a bear can fly, it screams at you, a bit over the top, but hey, it's advertising. It's got Banjo and Kazooie front and center, looking like they're soaring through the sky, Kazooie flapping away with those red wings. Fly like a bear and climb like a bird? The tagline asks, so you get the gist, it's about teamwork. Two heads are better than one, they say, which was the hook of the game, that duo dynamic. It's got a 5/5 review score, slapped on there from Avek and Veej, saying this is a brilliant game. Well, they weren't wrong, were they? Proper classic platformer from Rare. Everyone was buzzing for this after seeing bits of it in previews. And down at the bottom, in big letters, the fastest, most powerful games console on Earth. Bit much, but that's the N64 for you, always shouting about its power. So yeah, big push for Banjo-Kazooie, and rightly so, it was one of the N64's best. This UK magazine boasts itself as the leading Nintendo authority, specifically for N64, emphasizing its biggest selling status. It promotes itself with 6 promises, including exclusive game previews and genuine screenshots. The magazine highlights its readability, tips, and reliable writers. A photo of Team Nintendo introduces the staff. Contact information, including a London address and phone numbers, is provided for reader support. Featured game covers showcase titles like Vrally, Mission, Impossible, and F-Zero X. The page concludes by setting the stage for the issue's contents. This page we have here is the cover of the Nintendo official magazine, loud and proud as always. Blimey, look at that, Rally 64 splashed right across the middle. They're really pushing this one, aren't they? First huge preview, all the shots and info, you know the drill. They're promising we'll get the lowdown on how it plays, what it's actually like, all the courses and cars and whatnot. Rally 64's ready to rock. Bit cheesy, but hey, it's the 90s. Apparently, more on page 6 if you're that desperate for rally action. Nee. Down the bottom there's the Club Mario section. Bit for the readers to get involved, letters, pictures, all that malarkey. Page 84 for that if you're feeling chatty. And then game news. Always a good bit to flick through. New games, first and best news they reckon. Let's have a butcher's. Knife Edge, Twisted Edge Snowboarding, Ogre Battle 63, XG2, Silicon Valley, Duke Nukem, 0 Hour Blimey, that's a blast from the past, Duke Nukem on the N64, then Winback, Let's Smash, Zelda, Top Gear Overdrive, Shadowgate, Super Robot Spirits, Micro Machines, Pokemon Stadium. Quite a mixed bag there. Ah, Pokemon Stadium, with Charizard and Blastoise going at it. Naturally, there's a go to page 96 for that Pokemon business too. They really are trying to cover all bases, aren't they? Always something for everyone in these mags. This month's magazine features a variety of game reviews and guides. The reviews section highlights ISS 98, page 28, hailed as the best football game. Other reviews include Cruisin' World, page 42, Virtual Chess, page 40, Waiale Country Club Golf, page 46, Total Test, page 49, and Iggy's Wrecking Balls, page 36. F-Zero X, page 16, also receives attention. Game guides provide strategies for various games, including Kobe Bryant's NBA game, Forsaken, Weetrix, and GT64 Championship, page 62. A free mission, Impossible Guide is also included. The magazine offers tips, page 62, user tips, page 66, and score submissions, page 70. Finally, the Blagfest section offers giveaways, including copies of All-Star Baseball 99 and Wii-Trix, plus Nintendo toys, Godzilla items, and Batman comics. Page 93. Rally is coming to the Nintendo 64, with developers touting it as the ultimate rally experience, building on its success on the PlayStation. The article, titled "Let's Get Dirty," promises powerful rally cars and diverse tracks worldwide, from England to New Zealand. They boldly claim it will be the best-looking driving game ever on the N64, surpassing even established racers, like F-Zero X. The article's tone is enthusiastic, with captions highlighting an impending countdown to one of the best races in ages and promising rip-roaring rallying thrills. While the hype is considerable, the article suggests Rally is worth watching for its potential to impress N64 racing fans. This page is all about Rally 98 for the N64, building on what the last page was saying about it being a proper rally sim. Big splash image of a rally car, looking like it's kicking up some snow or dust, and they've gone for that lens flare effect to make it look a bit dramatic. You can see the Infogrames logo plastered all over the car. They were pretty proud of this one. Down at the bottom right there's a little game info box telling you it's by Infogrames, a rallying racer obviously, and coming out on the 27th of November 1998. So right in time for Christmas then. They were hoping to cash in on that, I reckon. Nintendo 64 logo at the top, and the magazine's own logo at the bottom, just to remind you where you saw it first. Seems like they're really pushing this one as a big game for the N64. The article reviews Rally 98, framing it as a serious rally driving game. It begins with a basic explanation of rallying, then compares Rally 98 to other popular rally games like Top Gear Rally and Sega Rally. The game features several modes: arcade for quick play, a championship mode spanning 8 countries, time trial, and 2-player multiplayer. The review highlights the variety of cars available, including world rally cars like the Toyota Corolla and Mitsubishi Lancer, alongside kit cars such as the Peugeot 306 Maxi. Each car listing includes technical specifications like engine size, drive system, and maximum revs, with a simple explanation for younger players. The focus is on the diverse selection of cars available, suggesting a technical and detailed approach to the driving experience. This page continues the Rally 98 review, showcasing the game's impressive car roster. We've got a stunning snowy mountain backdrop with 2 cars in action, a Peugeot and another yellow and blue one partially visible. Below the main image are smaller panels highlighting 4 cars: the Skoda Octavia, Opel Vauxhall Astra, Hyundai Coupe EV2, and Nissan Almera. Each car has its engine size, drive system, and max revs listed. Proper stats for us car enthusiasts, even if a bit basic. Each car panel also has a little screenshot from the game, showing them in action. Looks like they're trying to show off the different classes of cars you can thrash around in, from world rally cars to the slightly less glamorous kit cars. They're really pushing the big game aspect, aiming this squarely at us, N64 owners wanting a serious rally experience, not just arcadey fun. Rally 98 features 8 diverse tracks, showcasing a variety of environments. Corsica offers a beginner-friendly introduction with villages and mountains. Kenya presents a dirt track challenge in Africa. Indonesia provides a wet and slippery jungle experience. Sweden offers dangerous, snowy conditions. New Zealand is a fast and bumpy track requiring careful speed management. France, set in the Alps, is considered one of the hardest tracks. England features foggy, drizzly conditions and bumpy roads. Catalonia offers a sunny, twisting road experience. Each track comes with specific driving tips, highlighting the game's varied gameplay and aiming to deliver a big game rally experience. This page delves into the gameplay mechanics of Rally 98 for the N64, a rally simulation aiming for realism. It covers car control using the controller's stick or D-pad for steering, and buttons for braking, acceleration, handbrake and manual gear shifts. Basic cornering techniques are outlined, breaking down the process into easy-to-understand steps, offering advice for beginners. The page also discusses weather conditions, emphasizing how they affect driving. Sun offers clear visibility, while sunset, rain, snow, night and fog significantly reduce visibility and grip, thus increasing the challenge. The overall goal is to immerse players in the game and provide them with the tools and understanding to prevent them from constantly crashing. Rally 98's next page details gameplay, focusing on the Corsica track. The article walks the player through a lap using a track diagram, similar to a scalextric layout. Basic racing tips are offered, such as revving at the start and downshifting for turns, aimed at newcomers. The text highlights the tricky nature of Corsica's corners and advises against riding the curbs. The Let's Race section rates Corsica as a medium difficulty track, with a mix of straights and winding corners that require careful driving. While the advice is straightforward, it serves its purpose in preparing players for the rally stage. This page is all about Rally 98, continuing from the Corsica track tips on the last page. It's laid out like a track guide, going corner by corner, almost like those scalextric track diagrams we used to get in the box. Remember those? Starting at point 6, it's just basic stuff, rev down the straight. Hardly groundbreaking advice, but it's for the beginners, I suppose. Then it moves through a few more corners, advising you to watch the fencing and not get too close, and that there's a wide chicane, where you don't need to slow down much. Point 8 talks about a sharp left, mountain road, tough one, they reckon, telling you to turn in early. Bit dramatic, it's not that bad, is it? Number 11 is just a straight, 5th gear, foot down and cruise. Again, not exactly rocket science. Then at 12 it's an easy left, keep the power on. Don't even think about taking your foot off the throttle. Alright, we get it, speed is good. Finally, point 13 is the finish line coming up. Nice one, you've done it. Bit premature, aren't they? You haven't even beaten the target time of 1 hour 43 minutes and 0 seconds yet. Still, for a quick guide to the track, it's alright, I guess. Probably useful if you're just starting out with Rally 98 and struggling with the Corsica stage. This page highlights the features of Rally 98, focusing on the Corsica track. It details the driver warning system, with color-coded signals for corner severity, green for easy, yellow for sharp turns, and red for hazards. The article then showcases the game's visual appeal, with screenshots of close racing, rain, fog, and the race grid. The most entertaining section is dedicated to awesome car crashes, featuring rollovers, spins, and pile-ups, along with humorous tips on how to achieve them. The article concludes with a positive outlook, suggesting Rally 98 will be a top racing title for the N64. It ends with a brief mention of another racing game. Overall, the page emphasizes the exciting aspects of the game, particularly crashes and warnings. WWF Warzone on the N64 touted itself as the premier wrestling game, though the claim was debatable. The ad highlighted high-res graphics and photorealistic wrestlers, impressive for the time. It featured classic match types like Steel Cage and Royal Rumble, along with Creator-Wrestler mode, boasting over 300 motion-captured maneuvers, including signature moves, and 4-player action. The game aimed for an authentic wrestling experience. The roster included wrestling icons like Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and The Rock. A key selling point was the inclusion of two-man commentary with Vince McMahon and Jim Ross, enhancing the realism. The game was also available on PlayStation and Game Boy. The advertisement employed classic tactics to hype up the wrestling title. This page showcases F-Zero X, a proper fast racing game for the N64, none of that wrestling nonsense we saw before. It's flagged up as a big game with amazing speed, brilliant tracks and cool graphics, which is marketing speak of course, but let's be honest, F-Zero X was pretty rapid. Game Info tells us it's from Nintendo themselves, a 3D racer type, and slated for release on the 10th of November. The artwork is certainly eye-catching, with a bunch of characters looking like they've stepped out of a manga, and some of those futuristic racers looking properly nippy. The tagline at the bottom, "Eat a light lunch and buckle in thrills and spills ride," is laying it on thick, but yeah, F-Zero X was a bit of a white-knuckle experience back then. It's definitely trying to hype it up, as the adrenaline rush we've all been waiting for, and to be fair, for speed freaks it probably was. F-Zero X was heavily hyped as the king of space racers upon its release on the N64. Advertisements focused on its breakneck speed, boasting of speed freaks and calling it the fastest race on Earth. The game offered 3 difficulty settings, each with 6 circuits, and a strong multiplayer mode, even hinting at being better than GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64 for 4-player fun. Screenshots highlighted the intense speeds, showcasing characters racing at over 1,000 km per hour in split-screen mode. The text emphasizes the game's addictive 4-player option and challenging single-player experience, highlighting its totally tops gameplay. It also boldly claimed F-Zero X outmatched the speed of Extreme G, cementing its position as the ultimate racer for the N64. This magazine page previews F-Zero X, a futuristic racing game. The plot involves 30 drivers competing in the 26th century. The What You Play section details various game modes, including Grand Prix, GP races, multiplayer versus battle, up to 4 players, practice, time attack, and the chaotic deathmatch, where 30 racers battle until only one remains. The Mean Machines section focuses on the vehicles. There are 30 vehicles total, but you start with 6, unlocking more through wins. Each vehicle has stats for body, boost, and grip, AD ratings. The article highlights 3 ships, Blue Falcon, Golden Fox, and Wild Goose, along with their stats. Heavier ships excel at top speed while lighter ones offer quicker acceleration. Boost. This article explores the features of F-Zero X for the Nintendo 64. It highlights the game's multiplayer options, including modes like VS Computer, VS Handicap, and the quirky VS Slot. The article also dives into the motor specs, explaining the impact of body, boost, and grip ratings on vehicle performance. The Grand Prix Racing single-player mode, featuring cups with varying difficulty settings, is also discussed. The article mentions bonus tracks for skilled players. Screenshots showcase gameplay, including starting grids and in-race action. Finally, the article spotlights 3 machines: Fire Stingray, Samurai Goro, White Cat, Jody Summer, and Red Gazelle, MM Gazelle, detailing their stats and pilot attributes. This magazine page offers helpful tips for mastering F-Zero X. Micro Machines reveals a trick to shrink your ship on the select screen, though its practicality is questionable. You can also change your ship's color using the R button. Get Control details the N64 controller layout, emphasizing shift turns, R for right, Z for left, for cornering, the ram shield, double tap Z, boost, B button, viewpoint changes, C buttons, and air brakes, C down. Watch the sides reminds players to monitor their shield energy to avoid exploding from wall collisions. Finally, Tweak Your Engine advises adjusting acceleration and top speed for a competitive edge. Overall, the article provides essential gameplay strategies for navigating the game's fast-paced racing. This page is a bit of a blast from the past, isn't it? It's all about the Game Boy camera and printer, remember those? The headline shouts, "The camera never lies." Yeah right, but underneath it cheekily says, "But this one distorts, mirrors, modifies, animates." So they're admitting it's not exactly for serious photography then, are they? It's more about messing about, doodling on your face and that sort of thing. Funtography they call it. Clever. It shows off the camera, plugged into an orange Game Boy Pocket, and the little printer on the side. They are boasting, you can slam Game Boy camera into any Game Boy and it's a mini digital camera. Big deal. Digital camera back then meant blurry black and white pictures, but still, it was pretty cool at the time. You could save up to 30 photos. 30! Imagine that now, your phone can hold like 1,000,000. They mention you can doodle all over them, apply crazy stamps. It was a bit of a laugh, making daft pictures of your mates, and printing them out as mini stickers. Self-contained funtography studio, they say. Bit much, but yeah, it was fun for what it was. The Big Game Zero X guide covers fundamental aspects of the game. It points out the obvious on-screen information like laps, lives, position, and energy levels, along with the top 6 racers. A track guide focuses on Red Canyon 2, offering basic racing tips, such as using dash plates and avoiding spins. The guide then delves into cornering techniques, detailing stick slip, drift turn, and slide turn. A section titled Speed King emphasizes the game's speed by comparing its frame rate to other N64 racing titles, like Mario Kart 64, Wipeout 64, Extreme G, and Diddy Kong Racing. A jargon buster box explaining frame rates is also included. Despite being a basic guide, it was well received at the time. This guide highlights 6 F-Zero X tracks, offering a glimpse into the game's early courses. Mute City Figure 8 is presented as an easy starting point for learning controls. Silence High Speed is an oval track, good for dash plates despite their imperfect placement. Sand Ocean Pipe features narrow sections with potential for instant death. Devil's Forest Corkscrew involves avoiding gravel. Big Blue Cylinder offers a chaotic experience with its multiple surfaces. Finally, Port Town High Jump, set on ice, is described as the first real challenge with narrow chicanes and a large jump. These tracks showcase the game's fast-paced nature and introduce varying levels of difficulty. This page humorously compares F-Zero X's Rainbow Road to Mario Kart 64's, highlighting F-Zero X's speed advantage. F-Zero X, represented by Big Fang, completes the course significantly faster than Mario Kart 64's Matza. F-Zero X's course features jump plates, dash plates, traps, pit areas, and hazard sections. The page also mentions the unrealized potential of a 64DD expansion disc for track creation. Finally, it touches on the aggressive racing style required to win in F-Zero X. The comparison is a fun showcase of F-Zero X's gameplay. This page is all about F-Zero X, and it's billing it as a proper big game. Right at the top, there's a cool image of Blue Falcon kicking up some sparks, looking very dramatic. They're giving a little secret away, saying if you can beat all 4 cups, including the bonus Joker courses, you get access to the X-Cup mode. Apparently it creates 6 random tracks every time you play, which sounds like a laugh, never knowing what's coming. Then they've got a quick guide on how to do a spin attack move. Hold Yuri and double tap Z, and you can launch into a spin attack and smash into other ships. Good for getting ahead, but they warn you about losing control and falling off the track, which, knowing F-Zero, is a very real possibility. Down at the bottom in a section called We Think, they are saying it's like taking Extreme G's speed, Mario Kart 64's handling, doubling the acceleration and throwing in ace cornering. Bit of a bold claim, but it paints a picture of what to expect. They reckon the speed is the most impressive thing, but the play control is what makes it great. It's coming out in November, so they're telling everyone to get it on their shopping list. In a little red box called Zero In, they're asking readers what they think, and to drop them a line in Club Mario, on page 91, always trying to get you involved. These magazines. This page is a moody full-page advert teasing a new game. It's got this scaly monster skim close-up and the words, "The monster sleeps." Until October, clearly building anticipation for something coming to the N64, and with the Rareware logo at the bottom alongside the Nintendo 64 one, you know it's going to be a big title. October release date is being hinted at, which would have been something to look forward to back then. Bit mysterious, but intriguing enough to make you wonder what monster is waking up in October on the N64. This page is a full-page advert for Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. It's a close-up of a rather menacing-looking dinosaur eye, proper scaly and green, with a big red 2 scratched across it. Classic 90s style really, going for the shock factor. Right at the bottom it has the Acclaim logo, letting you know who's bringing this dino shooter to the N64. After all the build-up of a monster waking up in October on the last page, it turns out the monster is likely Turok and his prehistoric pals, or enemies, depending on how you look at it. Turok 2 was a big deal back then, proper graphically intense for the N64, lots of guns and dinos, a bit gory too if I recall. It was trying to push the boundaries of what the console could do visually, even if it didn't always quite stick the landing in terms of frame rate. Still, it was a spectacle, and this advert definitely plays on that in-your-face attitude. This page is the new game reviews section, always a treat to flick to back in the day. Looks like International Superstar Soccer 98 is the star of the show, slapped with an awesome award, so they clearly loved that. It's N64 of course, and they're raving about how realistic it is for a footy game, reckons it's the greatest, strong words. They mention improved graphics and gameplay and new in-game tactics, classic football management stuff really. Price is £39.99, release 4th of September, must be late summer/early autumn 98 then. There's a how they score box which is handy, explains their ratings. 90,100 is, amazing game you must play, which ISS 98 clearly hit. Below that it lists other reviews. Iggy's Wrecking Balls is on page 36, Virtual Chess on page 40, and Cruisin' the World on page 42. Virtual Chess, does it score, or is it a snore? Bit harsh, and Cruisin' the World they say it gets off to a brilliant start, always a bit mental those cruisin' games. Iggy's Wrecking Balls they call weird and wonderful. Remember that one bit of a Marmite game, wasn't it? Overall, classic N64 review page, focusing on the big hitters, and looks like ISS 98 was a must-have for any footy fan back then according to these guys. The next page is indeed all about International Superstar Soccer 98, which they've clearly bigged up as it's got that awesome award plastered all over it. There's a massive picture of some in-game players looking a bit blocky, but that's just how it was back then on the N64. You can see they're trying to show off the graphics and gameplay, and it's got that tagline RCER98 splashed across it. Must be some kind of marketing thing. Down at the bottom they've got boxes showing off the game modes. International is like the European Cup, and they even have a cheeky dig at Manud for getting knocked out early, haha. Then there's World League where you can pick any team, good or rubbish. Training mode is self-explanatory. Practice your skills. And scenario mode sounds a bit different, like you jump into a match that's already going wrong and you have to turn it around. So yeah, looks like they're really pushing ISS 98 as the must-have footy game for the N64, and by the looks of it they reckon it's the best of the bunch. Page 29, if anyone's trying to find it. This review raves about International Superstar Soccer 98 for the N64, awarding it awesome. Key features include editable player names, a necessity due to licensing issues, that could be saved to a memory pack. Multiplayer is heavily emphasized, allowing up to 4 players in various configurations, highlighting the fun of competitive play. Customization is another strong point, with options to adjust game rules, e.g., disable fouls, and player skills. The game features 54 international teams, each with attacking and defending ratings. Favorites like Brazil, Germany, Italy and England are highlighted, along with star players and amusingly altered player names. The review concludes that ISS 98 is the must-have soccer game for the N64, praising its multiplayer and customization options. This magazine page reviews International Superstar Soccer 98 on the N64, maintaining the positive assessment from the previous page. It includes a reader feedback section and delves into the game's tactical elements, such as formation adjustments and a motivation gauge. A screenshot showcases a goal scored, with the game's graphics praised, though possibly exaggerated as the sexiest ever. The article also highlights dark horses featuring Argentina, Nigeria and France, with player ratings, star players, and humorous misspellings due to licensing limitations. Overall, the review emphasizes the game's smoothness, speed and realism for its time, continuing to express strong approval. This magazine review raves about International Superstar Soccer 98 on the N64, emphasizing player control and tactical depth. The game allows for detailed tactical setups including attacker positioning, zone defense, and player roles. Positive feedback highlights the improved commentary, praised for its realism and professional commentators like Jonathan Pierce and Tony Guba. A new behind-the-goal camera angle is lauded for its improved gameplay. The review also notes enhanced goalkeeper animations and offers an exclusive tip on crossing the ball for a goal. Overall, the review strongly suggests the game is a quality title. This page is a rather cheeky advert for Rally Championship Edition on the Game Boy. It's got this crash car, proper overturned in a ditch, looks like a right mess. There's a police report pinned to it. Date is September 97, and the driver's excuse is blaming Vrally on the Game Boy for the crash. Says they didn't see it coming because they were too busy playing. Bit of a laugh in it. Rah. They're pushing all the features, you know the drill. 10 cars per race, 10 different countries, dynamic cameras, weather, 20 tracks in true 3D on a Game Boy mind you, and 3 difficulty levels. You have to play it to believe it, is their tagline. Fair enough, Rally was alright back then, on the consoles, and I guess getting a chunk of that on the old Game Boy was a decent shout if you were on the move. They've got the Game Boy and Ocean logos at the bottom. Classic stuff. There are a few tiny screenshots of the game itself. Typical blocky Game Boy graphics, but you can sort of see what they're going for. It's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way to sell a handheld rally game, making out it's so immersive it'll cause you to crash your actual car. Slightly dramatic, but marketing, eh? This review of International Superstar Soccer 98 for the N64 hails it as a significant upgrade over the near-perfect ISS 64. The review, titled New and Improved, highlights several enhancements. Key features include improved goalkeepers with parrying saves, adjustable height on dead ball kicks, more realistic mid-air passing, player builds with varied heights and weights, and diving headers. An auto-strategy option caters to beginners, while a humorous note encourages penalty shootout rematches. A Carl says, Box praises the gameplay but notes the button mashing can be tiring. The multiplayer experience is lauded as awesome. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay improvements, and the overall tone is highly positive, emphasizing the game's exciting advancements and fun multiplayer. International Superstar Soccer 98's review highlights its improved gameplay and features. The game introduces tricks and flicks, teaching players fancy moves. The AI is more challenging, with smarter computer opponents. Gameplay is smoother, with enhanced ball control, animations, and realistic heading. While scoring is harder, new goal celebrations are unlocked. Compared to World Cup 98, the game offers superior gameplay and control, according to a quote from Faris. The review praises the game's overall quality, giving it a high score, but advises players to try it before purchasing if they own the original. Iggy's Wrecking Balls, a puzzle racing game for the N64, promises, wacky characters, and 100 levels of mayhem. Released in August for £39.99, it supports multiplayer, memory pack, and rumble pack. Players navigate 3D tracks with ramps and loops, racing as characters like Iggy, Charlie, Amanda, and Chatter. The game features a story involving Iggy's quest to reach sacred towers while contending with the Chidama Kingdom. Gameplay appears fast-paced, involving grappling and puzzle elements. The reviewer is cautiously optimistic, praising the game's potential despite a learning curve for vertical tracks. A first tip suggests using Z for a speed boost. The game offers variety in playable characters. Overall, the review suggests an N64 charm, but whether it's actually enjoyable is uncertain. This page explores the gameplay of Iggy's Wrecking Balls. It details 4 main game modes: Race, Standard Cup Mode, Mix-Up, Custom Championships, Time Trial, Speedruns, and Battle, Knockout Free-for-All. The Train Up Your Tricks section acts as a tutorial, highlighting grapple controls, a button, and speed boosts, Z button, emphasizing the importance of timing. The review praises the game's colorful and twisty tracks and unique ball designs. 4 characters are introduced: QT, Robert, Gnarly, and Sunny, each with their own distinct personality. The overall aim is to showcase the game's diverse modes, teach the controls, and introduce the quirky characters. This review of Iggy's Wrecking Balls praises its energetic techno soundtrack. It then details the enemies: Sticky, Slows, Spiky, Burns, Stompy, Grapple, and Pushy, Shoves, showcasing them with blocky N64 graphics. Helpful gadgets like fans, catapults, and conveyor belts are also highlighted. A What Do You Reckon? Section encourages player feedback, reminiscent of early gaming culture. The reviewer finds the game challenging, particularly later on, and awards it an 83% score, calling it mad, bad, and good. A final tip advises players to watch their line to avoid falling off. Boringcha has it. This page, then, is a rather bizarre Skittles advert. It's got a list down the side with Skittles sweets next to words like love, money, health, luck, and trouble. Right, very profound. Skittles. Then there's this strange drawing of a geezer in a tower chucking Skittles down to another bloke standing below with a bowl. What's that all about then? The Skittles have spoken, it says at the bottom. Taste the rainbow, it says over on the side. Bit random even for the late 90s, isn't it? Still, they're Skittles, and you can't argue with a bag of those when you're knee-deep in a good session on the N64. Virtual Chess 64 for the N64 is reviewed, aiming to bring the classic game to a new audience. The review highlights features like animations, various game modes, 3D/2D board options, and tutorials. While attempting to simplify the rules, the reviewer is sarcastic about the sound effects and finds the music mellow, likely meaning boring. Priced at £49.99, the game is deemed acceptable, but not comparable to N64 classics like GoldenEye. The reviewer suggests the game is decent for chess fans, though perhaps overpriced given the availability of physical chess sets, but ultimately not in the same league as other N64 titles. Virtual Chess 64, reviewed in a classic O&M style, receives a 64% rating. While the game offers 14 skill levels, adjustable time limits, and a tutorial mode with a character named Titus, its core gameplay is hampered by dated visuals. The reviewer criticizes the fully animated capture sequences as becoming repetitive and unskippable, labeling them cartoon capers. Although these animations can be disabled, the reviewer feels the game becomes too plain without them. The game offers 3D and 2D views, and the ability to play up to 3 games at once. The review also notes the game's high price, suggesting the money would be better spent elsewhere. Overall, the game is deemed average, with a niche appeal to chess enthusiasts but likely to bore those unfamiliar with the game. This review praises Cruisin' World for the N64 as a significant improvement over the original Cruisin' USA. The game, released at £39.99, offers Rumble Pack and Memory Pack support. The reviewer highlights that N64 driving games haven't been stellar, but Cruisin' World is different, comparing it favorably to titles like GT64 Championship and Top Gear Rally, and calling it a real stonker. The game features various modes, including arcade and championship, and allows players to race in locations worldwide. It offers tips on gameplay, emphasizing the importance of using brakes and throttle in championship mode. The review notes improved visuals, better handling, and new features compared to its predecessor, with up to 4-player multiplayer. Overall, the review recommends Cruisin' World as a worthwhile racer for the N64. This review section delves into the specifics of Cruisin' World. Players can choose from a diverse car selection including an ATV, bus, and black cab. A multiplayer tip focuses on drifting using brakes and gas. The practice mode involves racing against a ghost car, with suggestions to use nitros, which feels excessive. Controls are straightforward. A for acceleration, B for brakes, the 3D stick for steering, and Z for nitros. Screenshots showcase late 90s graphics with humorous captions, emphasizing the game's over-the-top, arcade-style fun. The review highlights Cruisin' World's core appeal: pure, silly entertainment. This article highlights the tricks and turbos of Cruisin' World, praising its over-the-top stunts like the turbo jump and two-wheel cornering. It strongly contrasts Cruisin' World with Cruisin' USA, calling the latter a poor racer, with a less appealing soundtrack and multiplayer experience. Cruisin' World is lauded for its superior visuals, Boyzone Megamix music, and a frenetic four-player mode. While acknowledging the game's relative brevity, the review awards it an 83%, recommending it alongside Top Gear Rally and GT64. It suggests players forget about Cruisin' USA, solidifying Cruisin' World's place as a superior arcade racer. This late 90s magazine page is overflowing with competitions. Readers had the chance to win a Nintendo 64 and a stack of games, accessories, and even a Game Boy camera. A football-themed competition offered a PlayStation as a prize, a bold move on a Nintendo page. Other contests included Super Cop, Alien Attack, Hilo, Shootout, and Pop 5-0, all offering a wide array of prizes. These ranged from consoles like PlayStations, Sega Saturns, and N64s, to TVS, video recorders, and even a Pentium 2%. The page also featured posters, personal stereos, and remote-controlled TVS. It appears the magazine was aiming to clear inventory and entice readers to call premium rate numbers, reflecting a bygone era of gaming promotions. Waiale Country Club Golf for the N64 was reviewed and deemed underwhelming. Released in September for £39.99, it offered multiplayer but lacked Rumble Pack support, a notable omission. The review criticized its failure to meet N64 standards, highlighting average graphics and gameplay reminiscent of older golf games. Despite acknowledging a smart camera, the graphics were described as flat and lifeless. The game featured a 4-day tournament set in Hawaii and included standard golf tips. The review concluded the game was just a bit there, suggesting players would be better off with alternatives like Mario Golf or PGA Tour 64. This review lambastes Waialae Country Club Golf for the N64, awarding it a mere 64%. Gameplay is criticized, with a dodgy putting meter and a boring hitting mechanic. The review showcases a typical hole, highlighting these issues. The game's length is a major flaw. Only one course is available, deemed insufficient even for multiplayer. While player stats can be customized, it's not enough to save the game. The audio fares poorly, with okay commentary and cheesy music. The review emphasizes the game's shortcomings compared to Super NES golf titles, concluding that players should wait for a better golf simulation. This page is an advert for a website called Game Online, bragging about being the go-to place for rareware info. They're really pushing the fact they were all over Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, and Conker's Quest right when they were coming out, and they even reckon they had the world's first online review of Banjo-Kazooie. Blimey, talk about getting in there first back in the day. It's all plastered with that cheeky squirrel Conker, and it's clear they are proper Nintendo 64 heads. The tagline is, Game Online is nuts about Nintendo, you're nuts not to. A bit strong, but gets the point across, I suppose. They're really wanting you to point your browser their way, promising you'll get it all for free, which was the big sell back then, wasn't it? Seems they were proper chuffed with being first with all the rare stuff. Fair play to them, those were the games everyone was buzzing about at the time. The Total Test section, guided by Yoshi, reviews all Nintendo games available in the UK, updated monthly. It features reviews of new hardware like control pads and steering wheels, along with a Game Boy section covering budget games and accessories. Rental charts, most wanted games, and a famous 5 section are included. Other sections provide a contacts list, Nintendo numbers, highlights of magic moments like GoldenEye and Super Mario 64, plus reader contributions. The scoring system ranges from real rubbish, 0 to 44, to amazing game you must play, 90 to 100, with an awesome award for top-tier games. Scores for older games are updated to reflect current standards. This month's section also teases reviews for Mission Impossible and ISS 98, promising a comprehensive guide. This page of the magazine reviews a few N64 games, kicking off with Aerofighter's Assault, which scores a measly 54%. Seems like they weren't too impressed, calling it dull and saying the fighters handle like ice cream vans, which isn't a compliment, is it? They reckon paper airplanes are better flight sims. Ouch. Gale. Next up in the Most Wanted section, they're highlighting Mortal Kombat 4, ISS 98 and F-Zero X. Always good to know what everyone was after back then. Then there's All-Star Baseball 98 getting a solid 90%. They seem to really rate this one, saying it plays a dream and is gigantic fun. Good if you were into baseball games, I suppose. Banjo-Kazooie gets a stonking 96% and the Awesome Award. No surprise there. Everyone knew Banjo was something special back then. They're raving about it being the best platform game ever, brilliant mini-games, and saying you'll love it. Rightly so, it was a belter. Aero Gauge gets a poor 51%. Described as a driving nightmare with rubbish tracks. Not one to bother with then. Finally, Bomberman 64 gets a 73%. They say it looks cool with big bosses, but the camera angles are dodgy, and it lacks a bit of fun. Mixed bag then, worth a look maybe if you're a Bomberman fan but not essential. This page reviews various N64 accessories and games. It begins with a review of several Rumble packs, including the Jolt Pack, Shockwave, and Nintendo Rumble Pack, evaluating their rumble power, battery life, and price. The game reviews start with Chameleon Twist, which receives a 68% for its easy gameplay. Diddy Kong Racing and Duke Nukem 64 both earn Awesome Awards with 94% and 91% scores, respectively, praised for their gameplay and action. Buster Move 2 gets 84%, praised for its addictive puzzle gameplay. Finally, GoldenEye 007 receives a stellar 94% and an Awesome Award, lauded as the best shooter ever for its gameplay, graphics, sound, and multiplayer. This article reviews N64 racing wheels and games. The Top Gear Spectra video wheel is praised, while the VRF1 accelerator is difficult to use. The V3 racing wheel suits Mario Kart, and the Platinum sound wheel offers okay value despite poor buttons. The Hypersteering 64 handles poorly, and the LX4 steering wheel has a rumble effect. The Vortex wheel allows 360-degree movement, and the Ultra Racer 64 is unique, but takes getting used to. Game reviews include Clay Fighter 63 1/3, 25%, criticized for poor animation. Cruisin' USA, 59%, is a racing game. Dual Heroes, 52%, features Power Ranger-style brawlers. FIFA 98, Road to World Cup, 90%, is a licensed football game. Doom 64, 85%, is a shooter. And Multi-Racing Championship, 65%, offers racing fun. Extras include performance brand SCART leads, cleaning kits, and controller extension cables, all at £9.99 each. This page reviews several N64 games. Fighter's Destiny, a beat-em-up with ring-out mechanics, receives a strong 90%. FIFA 64 gets a lukewarm 67%, considered decent, but unremarkable. Forsaken, a futuristic flying bike shooter, earns a stellar 92% for its challenging gameplay. F1 Pole Position 64 is deemed average, scoring 70%. Dark Rift, a futuristic fighter, gets 73% for its visual effects, but simple gameplay. Extreme G, another futuristic racer, is praised for its speed and track design, achieving an 84%. GT64 Championship, a realistic racer, gets 85% for its graphics and track accuracy. Finally, a Did You Know section highlights Super Mario 64's secret ending, where Yoshi appears after collecting all stars. This article reviews Game Boy accessories and games. Game reviews include Super James Pond, Platformer, Desert Strike, Helicopter Shooter, and Alien Olympics, sports game with aliens, all priced at £9.99. More expensive cartridges feature Hexen 64, 50% poor graphics, Killer Instinct Gold, 80% classic fighter, and Mace, The Dark Age, 79% gory fighter. The Game Boy camera and printer combo is highlighted, £39.99 and £49.99 respectively, praised for its novelty. Connecting cables, £7.99, are essential for multiplayer. A section lists phone numbers for game companies, useful before the internet. This Total Test section reviews several Nintendo 64 games: International Superstar Soccer 64 and Lilat Wars Star Fox 64 both receive high scores of 93%. Mission Impossible earns an 84%, and Madden Football 64 gets an 89%. Mischief Makers is rated at 80%, and Lamborghini scores a 76%. Multi-Racing Championship receives an 83%, while NBA Hangtime gets a 75%. However, Mortal Kombat Mythologies is heavily criticized, scoring a dismal 36%. Mortal Kombat Trilogy fares slightly better with a 56%. The reviews highlight gameplay, graphics, and overall quality, showcasing a mix of classic and less successful N64 titles. This page is all about getting the best bang for your buck on 64 gear down the high street, right? They've rounded up deals from places like BT's, Curry's, Dixon's, Game, Electronics Boutique, and even somewhere called Excitement Direct. Looks like console bundles are the main thing you could snag an N64 with Banjo-Kazooie or GoldenEye, sometimes even with extra controllers or rumble packs chucked in. Prices seem reasonable for the time, especially if you were after the limited edition gold console. They also mention deals on accessories like the Game Boy camera and printer. Then they've got these mini reviews of a few games. Nagano Winter Olympics gets an 80%, reckons it's alright for a bit but might not last. Mario Kart 64 scores a top-notch 90%, and rightly so. It's a classic racer, ace 4-player action. NBA Pro 98 gets 85%, sounds like a decent basketball sim with good graphics, especially if you're into your slam dunks. Finally, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon also gets a 90%. They say it's a bit easy in single player but packed with surprises and weird characters. Another solid game from the looks of it. Seems like a good mix of titles they've highlighted here, something for everyone: sports, racing, and a bit of quirky Japanese action. This text reviews memory packs and several N64 games. The article compares various memory pack brands, including the official Nintendo controller pack, and discusses memory size. Game reviews include NHL Breakaway 98-88%, a realistic but graphically limited hockey sim; Rampage 53%, a classic but potentially short-lived experience; Robotron 64 80%, a fast-paced shooter; and NBA Courtside 89%, a well-received basketball game. The reviews also feature a section on games with rainbow effects, highlighting titles like Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. Overall, it offers practical information on memory options and game reviews, providing a useful resource for N64 enthusiasts. This page reviews various third-party N64 controllers, comparing them to the official Nintendo pad, which is considered the best. Notable controllers include the Macapad, good for left-handers and shooters; Warrington also has 4-controller, cheap; SharkPad Pro 64, platformers; Competition Pro, D-pad and shoulder buttons; Trident pads, standard and pro; Arcade Shark, beat-em-ups; Superpad 64, all-rounder; Superpad 64 Plus, best value; and Manta Ray, shoot-em-ups. The page also highlights the game GoldenEye 007, emphasizing its lasting appeal and importance to the N64's success. Screenshots provide tips, reinforcing the game's status as a classic. This review highlights several N64 titles. Olympic Hockey, Shadows of the Empire, and Snowboard Kids each scored 81%. Pilot Wings 64 earned an 84%, praised for its graphics. NFL Quarterback Club 98 received a 91%, lauded for gameplay. San Francisco Rush scored a 74%, with mixed reviews. Quake was the standout, achieving a 92%, and described as fragging brilliant. The UK charts are also featured, with Banjo-Kazooie at number 1, followed by World Cup 98 and GoldenEye 007. Other top 10 games include GT64 and Shadows of the Empire. A reader, Gerpel Gruel, won a memory pack for predicting the upcoming chart. This page features N64 game reviews and UK rental charts. Tetrisphere, a 3D Tetris game, scores 86%, praised for its addictive gameplay. Top Gear Rally earns 85% for realistic handling. War Gods gets 63%, deemed amusing. Wave Race 64 receives 83% for its water effects. Super Mario 64 earns a stellar 95%, hailed as a platforming masterpiece. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter scores 90%, lauded for its weapons and graphics. The rental chart is led by Banjo-Kazooie. GoldenEye 007 and World Cup 98 are also popular. Other rentals include GT64, WCW vs NWO, Forsaken, Yoshi's Story, Weetrix, Fighter's Destiny and Mystical Ninja. Cool rentals to try before buying are World Cup 98, Forsaken, Weetrix, and WWF Warzone. This review covers several N64 games, including wrestling and sports titles. WCW vs NWO, a wrestling game, scored 86%. Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey got an 81%, praised for its multiplayer. WWF Warzone, another wrestling game, earned a high 90% with its grappling madness. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 98 also scored 81%. Yoshi's Story, a platformer, received an 88%, while puzzle game Weetrix got 90%. World Cup 98, the official soccer game, was the highest rated at 93%, lauded for its playability and controls. The review highlights a diverse selection, with strong showings from wrestling and sports games. This vintage article offers tips and cheats for several Nintendo 64 games. Featured games include classics like GoldenEye 007, Super Mario 64, and Banjo-Kazooie, with specific advice for titles like WCW vs NWO, All-Star Baseball 99, and Goemon. For WCW vs NWO, the tip details how to reverse special moves using the Spirit Meter and A+B. All-Star Baseball 99 includes a cheat code, Atomy Book, to unlock an Alieноpolis Stadium, and a convoluted exploit to cheat the CPU. Goemon offers a glitch to avoid enemy fire by switching characters with the Z button. The article presents these tips as helpful insights from gaming experts, though some are fairly basic or involve complex maneuvers. This page discusses Banjo-Kazooie cheat codes for the Nintendo 64. The guide starts with basic controller diagram explanations. The main focus is on the game's cheat codes, including an invincibility and level select cheat requiring mirror reading, alongside other codes for invincibility, level select, psychedelic effects, and unlimited nitro. Shape-shifting codes offer transformations like tall and skinny Banjo and giant Kazooie/Banjo, which require in-game puzzle solving, such as spelling out words on tiles within Treasure Trove Cove and Banjo's house. The article emphasizes the old-school nature of these earned cheats, contrasting them with the more direct GameShark methods. This page is a collection of tips and cheat codes for various N64 games. Diddy Kong Racing features mystery times for speedrunners. GoldenEye offers Big Head mode by completing runway quickly, and another cheat hidden in facility vents. It also has a Huge Heads code, triggered at the title screen. NFL QB Club 98 features small wide players. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire includes an all-encompassing cheat code for invincibility. Mortal Kombat Myth gets a mention for warping to a specific mission, while Madden 64 unlocks hidden teams. Aerogauge provides a tip on racing as the N64 controller. Lastly, Doom offers a God Mode cheat. The page also promotes a call-in service for gaming problems in September. This page offers more N64 game tips, starting with cheat codes. GoldenEye receives continued coverage, with multiplayer tactics for Destroy the Flag and exploiting a vantage point in facility. NBA Courtside features hidden teams and a disco court cheat, accessed with a mirror. Yoshi's Story boasts infinite lives and benefits from heart fruits, which extend tongues and transform shy guys. Weetrix highlights water effects and new pieces unlocked by a cheat. Lastly, Buster Move 2 provides a level skip, though the authors disapprove. Mirror use for code reading is a recurring theme. Chi. This page offers nostalgic gaming tips from the pre-internet era. Diddy Kong Racing players could use the cheat joint venture to get red balloons for easier races. GoldenEye 007 players could make the flag invisible in multiplayer by slapping an unarmed player while holding Z. San Francisco Rush users could improve handling and jumping by adjusting settings with Z and A buttons. A Game Boy James Bond 007 tip suggested shooting a lamp to darken a room and sneak past a guard. Finally, Bomberman 64 players were seeking locations for body parts. The page highlights the community spirit of sharing game secrets before online guides existed. This magazine page offers tips for N64 games. In GoldenEye 007, you can't reach the sniper rifle location in the dam level and can't play as Connery or Moore, though you can see their images with a cheat cartridge. In WCW vs NWO World Tour, you can use created wrestlers. Fighter's Destiny tips reveal how to unlock USHI, Joker, Robot, and Master. Forsaken requires completing the nuke level quickly to unlock bounty hunters. In Super Mario 64, high jump for the Big Boo Star, and the Tick-Tock Clock Star involves a conveyor belt jump. Nintendo Problem invites readers to submit questions. New Ways to Play features ISS Tennis with a keepy-uppy game mode. Finally, a review of ISS 98 gave it a low score. This page shows you how to make your own free envelope out of the magazine itself. Remember those? You'd cut along the dotted lines, fold it all up following the numbers from 1 to 6, and then stick it down. It was for sending stuff into Nintendo official magazine cheats. Their address is even printed on the envelope template. EMAP images in London, proper old school. It even says, "Don't put anything in this envelope." At the bottom, bit bossy, weren't they? Presumably, it's just for letters, not like you could post a game cartridge in something made of magazine paper anyway. Probably to send in your cheat questions or tips, tying in with the previous page about GoldenEye and Mario 64 cheats. A clever way to get reader interaction, making you cut up your own magazine to participate. Resourceful times, eh? This advertisement promotes a subscription to Nintendo official magazine, offering 3 free mags, and emphasizing direct purchase for savings. The magazine boasted exclusive N64 news, reviews, tips, and free game guides. A prize draw for £150 of Nintendo kit, featuring Elks 4 controllers, was included. Subscription options were available for the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world, with prices ranging from £26.50 to £66.50. Payment methods included cheque, postal order, and debit/credit cards. Access, Visa, MasterCard. Subscribers needed to provide personal information and mention offer code F1s to enter the prize draw, which closed on September 25, 1998. This month's magazine features 4 N64 challenges. Players are challenged in Yoshi's Story, Jungle Hut High Score, Diddy Kong Racing, Dark Moon Caverns Fastest Time, GoldenEye, 007, Bunker 50 Kills, and Forsaken, Nuke Level Fastest Time with all enemies defeated. Prizes are offered for top scores. The results section highlights winners from previous challenges: Trev Collis, Diddy Kong Racing, Ben W, Yoshi's Story, Mario P, Mario Kart, and Stan H, GoldenEye. The page showcases reader achievements and provides competitive goals, fostering a sense of community. This page details a GoldenEye 007 Mega Challenge from a late 90s N64 magazine. The grand prize is £250 of N64 gear. The challenge has 2 parts. A speed run, where players must kill 30 enemies on any level, and submit a stat screen photo as proof. The top 4 speedrunners are invited to a GoldenEye Deathmatch tournament at Nom Towers in London on November 21, 1998. The tournament winner gets more N64 prizes and a meal at Planet Hollywood. Cheats are addressed. Invincibility is banned, but fast animation and turbo mode are allowed for the time trial. Entry requires a photo of the TV screen, personal details, a totally gorgeous photo of yourself, and mailing everything to the Isle of Dogs by November 13, 1998. The magazine's decision is final. This page is all about NBA Courtside for the N64. It's a tactics guide, aimed at helping you improve your game, whether you're a total rookie or think you're a bit of a baller already. They've got it broken down into sections like Rookie Tactics and Athlete Tactics, which is a bit cheeky, implying some of us might actually be athletes. For the beginners, they're running through the basics like using the turbo, protecting the ball when dribbling, blocking shots, and how to steal the ball. Simple stuff really, but essential if you want to get anywhere. Then for the athlete tactics, they're getting into some slightly more advanced moves, like intentional fouls, risky move that one, faking shots to get rebounds, crossovers to bamboozle your opponent, spin dribbling, and how to nail those easy 3-pointers. Finally, there's a section on passing, focusing on position passing, to keep possession and create scoring chances. Looks like they reckon NBA Courtside is a must-have if you're into basketball games, going by their little "We Said" box. Issue 72 this is, and they're even referencing a review from issue 71, so they were clearly keen on it. All in all, a handy little guide if you were struggling to figure out all the controls and moves in NBA Courtside back in the day. Remember those graphics? Blocky as anything, but we loved it, didn't we? This NBA Courtside guide offers gameplay tips, starting with in-play moves covering quick passing, fast counters, stealing, stopping opponent scoring, and rebounds. It then details Create a Player, showing how to customize players with examples like Michael Jordan and a super shooter. The guide includes a subjective best teams section, categorizing teams as excellent, good, and weaker. Excellent teams include hidden Nintendo teams, alongside established NBA teams. Good and weaker teams are also listed, offering a team-based ranking. Finally, a timeout section with Wario hints at cheat codes for hidden teams and encourages reader participation with a contest. The article ends with standard magazine elements like the logo and page number. Non-useful. This magazine page reviews the N64 game Forsaken, specifically the Defend the Power level. It starts with a contents listing, referencing previous coverage of challenging routes and bounty hunters, complete with level maps. A quote highlights the appeal of the bounty hunter gameplay. The page dedicates space to the bounty hunters themselves, even though they're not playable, describing 4 with ship details and stats. The main focus is the Defend the Power mission, where the player defends 4 power cores from the MDF in Belfast, UK. The guide emphasizes the importance of the beam laser weapon and provides a map key. Yen.e heli, Yen.e heli 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 heli, Yen.e heli heli heli, Yen.e heli heli heli, Yen.e heli, Yendo. Players are guided through protecting the cores in sequence, collecting pickups, using nitro for speed, and navigating the level via labeled locations, AI, to complete the timed objective. This page details tips for the N64 game Forsaken, covering the levels Refinery and Sewer. Refinery, set in Middlesbrough, UK, tasks players with destroying 50 MDF units. The guide emphasizes learning the level layout and using primary fire with missiles. A map outlines areas with pickup locations. The walkthrough guides players through these areas. Sewer, in Paris, France, is a timed search and destroy mission with a 4-minute limit. The hint focuses on quick routes due to stationary enemies. It adjusts difficulty based on performance. A simpler map with areas is provided. A bounty hunter section introduces characters Mephistophon, combat droid, and Nutter, mad scientist, providing background information and detailing their ship characteristics. This Forsaken guide focuses on the Stabilizers level, a crystal and reactor-based mission in Stockton, UK. The level map is marked AKK, guiding players through collecting crystals while avoiding enemies like Excop and Aqua Force 1. The guide provides a step-by-step walkthrough with screenshots detailing crystal locations, door sequences, and enemy encounters. Players must navigate radiation passages, switches, and make choices on crystal retrieval. The guide also provides information on enemies, including the slow but powerful Levitank and the fragile but dangerous mine layer. This Forsaken guide details boss encounters. The first Babala commander is Manmech, located after navigating a map, AG, with enemy encounters and pickups. The guide highlights the route with images showing enemy engagements, shaft climbs, and the transpulse battle leading up to Manmech's health bar. Next, the guide covers Maldroid. It's considered easy, but requires ammo. Players follow a map, AE, defeating turrets before reaching Maldroid, who is guarded by turrets. The guide suggests using Trojans and missiles. Finally, the guide details enemy types: pulse turrets, laser, snub turrets, armored missiles, aerial suppressors, and swarm drones, providing strategic insight. This briefing covers strategies for facing tough enemies in Forsaken and navigating specific mission objectives. Part 3 details special enemies: the stationary tracking Aqua Force 1, the enemy spawning Exogenon, the War Machine Metatank, and the energy-conserving Spawn. The guide then details Battle Base, Commander 4, destroying the Power Crystal by clearing rooms AF, destroying turrets, and grabbing pickups. Finally, for Commander 5, Ramkhan, use the Pion Cycle. Stage 1 involves shooting Ramkhan between island jumps. Stage 2 involves collecting pickups and engaging him. Stage 3 requires activating 4 switches to defeat Ramkhan in acid. The briefing concludes with the MDF's defeat and a return to Earth, with a reminder for cheat codes. This page is a full-page advert for International Superstar Soccer 98 on the N64. It's got a proper dramatic picture of 2 footballers staring each other down. You know, that classic intense football rivalry look. It's shouting more than just a game in big yellow letters at the top. Below that, there's the game logo itself, all fiery and exciting, and a tagline bragging about it being the best football video game of all time, now with added kick. Bit bold, that, even for Konami back then, Right at the bottom there's the N64 logo just to remind you what console it's for. Classic late 90s stuff, probably just before the World Cup. Trying to get everyone hyped up for a bit of digital footy on their Nintendo 64. We were spoiled for choice with football games back then, weren't we? This text reviews a guide for the Nintendo 64 puzzle game, Weetrix. The guide offers tips for mastering the game, including using smart bombs to clear water, trimming lakes with downers to prevent earthquakes, and understanding lake multipliers for scoring. It also highlights the benefits of rainbows for bonus points, and strategic use of bombs and walls. The guide emphasizes proper use of uppers, particularly the T, L, I, and square shapes, with specific placement suggestions. The guide covers a wide range of topics, from expert playstyles to dealing with bombs and mines. The article references previous magazine issues that featured Weetrix, and concludes with a quote, praising the game's captivating nature. This Weetrix guide details expert playstyles and how to handle hazards. The first playstyle emphasizes blitzing for high scores, while the second favors a slower, planned approach focusing on lake design and utilizing eyepieces. The guide then covers handling hazards, including bombs and ice. Bombs can be dropped onto ice to buy time, and are best neutralized with upper/downer pieces. Freezing lakes can be fixed using downers, and a square piece in the center of a lake prevents freezing. Lastly, mines require a slower, more deliberate placement strategy, and the guide encourages a calm approach to manage them. This page is all about GT64 Championship Edition, continuing the expert driving course from a previous issue, so part 2 then. It's got the usual magazine breakdown, contents tells you what's inside, covering advanced driving skills like creaming the corners cheeky. On the grid, lists what issues covered what. Issue 68 was a preview, 69 a review, and 71 starts this driving course. Then there's a section called Top Racing Gear, which is a bit of a guide to the cars. They've got the Ray Brick, which is apparently good in the sun and fast on straights, the Ocean, which is wet weather specialist with good handling, and the Supra, the all-rounder, good in any weather and fast. Bit basic to be honest, but helpful if you were new to the game back in the day. Corner with Ease is your basic driving tips, showing you how to take corners using the N64 controller. Press A to drive towards a bend, use the 3D stick, hold A and tap B to brake, then accelerate out of the corner. Fairly standard stuff really, teaching you to brake before the corner, not during it, which is racing 101. Keep your speed up is more about maintaining momentum and being smooth. Brake for corners, drive straight as possible. Not rocket science, but a decent little guide for GT64 if you were struggling to keep up with your mates back then. This guide for GT64 offers advanced driving tips beyond the basics. Check the mirrors, details aggressive blocking techniques, including swerving and potentially shunting opponents. Inside Info focuses on efficient cornering by taking the inside line and accelerating quickly. Ram on the corner promotes intentionally spinning out rivals. Master Overtaking advises utilizing slipstreaming for straightaway passes. The guide concludes with the assurance that these strategies will help players dominate their friends, and a call for reader feedback. Overall, it provides a range of strategies, from essential cornering advice to deliberately dirty tactics. This Club Mario page is filled with reader opinions on the latest Nintendo happenings. Readers debate whether Banjo-Kazooie will surpass Super Mario 64, discuss the ongoing Super Mario World vs. Donkey Kong Country rivalry, and acknowledge the N64's dominance in platformers. Concerns about game costs lead to suggestions of buying second-hand games. The 64DD and its potential impact on game pricing is discussed, with varying levels of optimism. Readers also praise N64 classics like GoldenEye and Super Mario 64. The article concludes with a mention of Club Mario Live at Alton Towers, where attendees enjoyed GoldenEye multiplayer. Overall, it's a snapshot of Nintendo fandom at the time. This month's reader page features a Name That Game quiz, including Robotron 64. Daniel Moss wins the reader chart, with GoldenEye still reigning supreme, alongside appreciation for snowboard kids. Reader letters discuss games like Mission, Impossible vs. GoldenEye, Zelda delays, and anticipation for Ocarina of Time. Readers also debate Nintendo's future without Rare, and football game rivalries between World Cup 98 and ISS 64. Reader photos showcase preferences for Mortal Kombat 4, GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, and various other N64 titles. Finally, a mention of a Radio 1 roadshow in Paynton, offering GoldenEye battles and prizes, rounds out the retro content. Leroy and Alex White, featured in the magazine, show off their Nintendo setup. They're huge fans of the Nintendo 64, praising its games, while their dad's Super NES remains unused. Gaming highlights include Diddy Kong Racing and GoldenEye. They anticipate ISS 98 but surprisingly, don't mention Zelda. Georgia music tastes lean towards pop, but they also enjoy Thunder's rock. Hobbies include American football and collecting a Dallas Cowboys shirt. They're dedicated official Nintendo magazine readers. As West Ham fans, they've attended games. Their room features a Yoshi plushie and Toy Story figures. They won prizes for being featured, including controllers, memory packs, and World Cup '98. The page ends with a photo of the friends playing World Cup '98 and encourages other readers to submit their setups. This magazine highlights a few topics. My Game imagines a Mario Kart 64 using Super Mario 64 levels, including a deathmatch mode. The U-Review section praises Diddy Kong Racing, awarding it 95% for its graphics, characters, and 4-player battle mode. The Letters page features a debate about the Dreamcast versus the 64DD, complaints about game availability, and requests for more cheats. Readers discuss game recommendations, parental control on games, and controller preference. The magazine also hints at the upcoming Mortal Kombat 4. Finally, there's a quiz testing Nintendo knowledge on various games and characters. This issue of Club Mario features a lively letters section. Readers discuss the need for a light gun for N64 games like GoldenEye and Quake, with differing opinions on which games should necessitate one. Fan dedication is highlighted by a reader buying 2 copies monthly, one for his brother in Nigeria. Game preferences spark debate, with opinions on N64 racing games and predictions for upcoming titles like MK4. Readers inquire about X-Men games and a way to connect the Game Boy camera to the N64. Other sections include a child dressed as Mario, showcasing game boxes, and a GoldenEye challenge. Football game recommendations are given, and a Graystation smashing contest is mentioned. Finally, a random story about Lilat Wars Jam concludes the issue. This magazine page highlights new merchandise in Mario Mart, including a Donkey Kong Racer, a Gold Mario collection, a Super Mario World game, a Goemon keyring, and a Tamagotchi. Ultimate Warrior features a winner's boast and asks readers to suggest hero skills. Mario's hit list poses questions about the N64's racing game prospects, Rally, the Game Boy camera, ISS 98, the top Christmas game, and the Nintendo Challenger event. Reader letters address requests for free controllers, praise for the Game Boy camera, and anticipation for the Game Boy Color. This month's Club Mario features reader opinions and artwork. Mark criticizes the Game Boy camera, while a reader misunderstands Banjo-Kazooie's sequel. Nathan praises Japanese Fu-Zero X, and Tim agrees. Readers debate review scores for Wave Race 64 and Diddy Kong Racing. Someone complains about the wait for Pokemon Stadium. The Your Art section showcases drawings of Footy Yoshi, a Nintendo caricature, and a Zelda/Donkey Kong cover. Robert wins Mario's winner with a Banjo-Kazooie watercolor. Answers to Name That Game and Brain Strain are provided. Finally, the staff list, subscription info, legal details and acknowledgements wrap up the issue. This magazine page details how to participate in Club Mario, a free initiative with postage paid by Nintendo. Readers could cut out a form, fill it out, and mail it in. The form has 4 sections. Club Mario is for general feedback. U-Review allowed readers to review games, potentially winning a Nintendo 64 game, with categories for game name, best/worst bits, graphics and verdict. My Game invited readers to submit their game ideas, also for a chance to win an N64 game, asking for game name, type, player count, and scene setting. Lastly, My Chart allowed readers to list their top 5 favorite Nintendo games, and an I Am section collected personal details, name, address, age, phone number, for database building, including an option to opt out of special offers. This page aimed to engage fans. This page is the actual cutout form to send in for that Club Mario thing we just saw. It's all pretty straightforward really. You've got your Club Mario free envelope, bold at the top, can't miss that. And then it's all about ticking the box for what you're sending in, whether it's general Club Mario feedback, a U-Review, your My Charts top 5 games, or your grand My Game idea. They've even put little diagrams and numbers, 1 through 6, showing you how to fold the thing up into an envelope, like some kind of origami for gamers. Bit fiddly, but I suppose it saves on paper. It's all prepaid post too, response license and all that jazz clearly printed, so no need to rummage for stamps, which is a bonus. And just in case you're thinking of being a clever clogs, there's a big shouty warning at the bottom. Don't put anything in this envelope. Because apparently some people need to be told not to go sticking actual games or sweets in there, just the paper form, mind you. Honestly, some people. This month's Blagfest offers several easy-to-enter competitions. Baseball Bonkers gives away copies of All-Star Baseball 99 and baseball caps, with a simple question about the Yankees. Monster Madness offers Godzilla and superhero comics, with a question about Superman's enemy, Lex Luthor. Go Weetrix Wild provides copies of Weetrix, a puzzle game, and a question about Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Pump Up the Volume offers Radio Gear, with a question about a Radio 1 DJ. To enter, send answers and details on a postcard or envelope to their London address. The page is aimed at children, with straightforward questions to win Nintendo-related prizes. This sales page, likely from a magazine, advertises N64 bundles and accessories. Bundles include the console with games like GoldenEye and International Superstar Soccer 98. They offer deals like +£1 off to encourage additional purchases of games, memory cards, rumble packs, and even soft toys. A list of N64 games, with new and second-hand prices is displayed, showcasing classics like Mario Kart 64 and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, along with a game trade-in program. The page also highlights fast delivery and accessories like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong soft toys, a Game Boy booster, unheard of, and various controllers, including wireless and colored options. They push extended warranties and offer a free mouse mat with certain game purchases. The page's goal is to entice customers with a wide array of products. This mail-order gaming page from the 90s offers a nostalgic glimpse into a pre-internet era. Featuring PlayStation games like Colin McRae Rally and Gran Turismo, it also highlights N64 accessories such as racing wheels and rumble packs, essential for immersive gaming experiences. Super NES titles like Donkey Kong Country and Game Boy accessories, including the pocket camera and printer, are also advertised. The page showcases N64 essentials like Action Replay, memory cards, and guidebooks for games like GoldenEye and WWF Warzone. With items like multi-cases and 64 passports for importing games, the page captures the excitement and limitations of that time, offering a glimpse into gaming culture before online shopping. The expensive prices of the accessories add to the experience. This magazine page previews upcoming Nintendo 64 games, including Charlie Blast's Challenge, Duke Nukem, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Pokémon Stadium. The featured game is Micro Machines 64 Turbo, a 3D racing game by Codemasters. The game promises wacky races on tracks like kitchen tables and pool tables, with corn on the cob and other household objects as obstacles. Micro Machines 64 Turbo is touted for its addictive gameplay and multiplayer modes, supporting up to 8 players. It's scheduled for release on October 21st, offering a fun, light-hearted racing experience different from more serious driving games. This page showcases Micro Machines 64 Turbo in full swing. Blimey, look at that action. It's all go on what looks like a kitchen table, complete with a checked tablecloth and... are those chocolate hoops as track markers? Clever touch. They're really pushing the everyday objects as hazards angle, aren't they? You can see the little racers dodging forks and toasters. Classic Micro Machines mayhem. The game is definitely aiming for that fun, chaotic multiplayer vibe they were banging on about before. It looks like they've included a minimap and lap counter in the corner there, so you can keep track of the madness. Nintendo 64 news at the top there, so this must be from 97 then, right when the N64 was hitting its stride. Yeah, Micro Machines, good bit of fun for a laugh with mates, not exactly Mario Kart but a decent party game nonetheless. The next page continues the Micro Machines 64 Turbo lovin', focusing on what they're calling wacky worlds. 48 tracks in total, they're boasting, which is a decent chunk. They're showcasing some of these mental tracks, and it's all very much what you expect from Micro Machines. Racing on everyday surfaces blown up to a massive scale. Looks like they're pushing the variety, with tracks set in kitchens, beaches, pool tables, laboratories and gardens. The kitchen track is on a tablecloth with cheese wedges as ramps. The beach one is sandcastles and buckets. The pool table is all chalk lines and snooker balls to dodge. Laboratory looks a bit mad with bubbling chemicals. And the garden one is underwater with bridges. They even mention some tracks are only for water vehicles, and others for teeny tiny choppers. So you can expect some boat races, and maybe some helicopter action too then. Sounds a bit different to the usual car racing. They're really hamming up the power-ups too, with screenshots showing a white car using a grabber claw to shunt another car. Cheat! Boo! They say. Bit dramatic for a kid's game, isn't it? But yeah, looks like typical Micro Machines chaos. Good for a laugh with mates. This preview highlights upcoming games and news. Micro Machines 64 Turbo features silly hazards like magnets and spills, with a sandcastle track praised for multiplayer fun. Mission Impossible on N64 is getting a price cut. Shigeru Miyamoto is visiting the UK to showcase the new Zelda game, though it's not public. Eurotom is developing 40 Winks, a 3D adventure. F-Zero X has cooler Japanese ads, and PAL users need Yoshi's Story to play it. Finally, numerous color Game Boy games are in development, including portable versions of Pitfall 3D, Gex 3D, and Men in Black, plus Looney Tunes titles. Micro Machines 64 Turbo is expected to be the best yet. This page is all about Knife Edge. Looks like it's trying to be the N64's first proper light gun game, which is a bit of a surprise really. It's from Kemco, the guys behind Top Gear Overdrive and Shadowgate 64, so make of that what you will. They're calling it a 3D shoot 'em up, due out in winter 1998. The article reckons it's got loads of missions and space battles against cool bosses. Apparently, unlike your usual light gun blastathons, this one's got some variety. They're talking about different mission types like attacking fortresses, trench runs, dogfights, and surface attacks. You're basically on Mars, blasting alien hordes who've taken out Earth's first lot of pioneers. You control a target on screen and shoot alien ships. Pretty standard light gun fare in that respect. There's talk of boss battles against massive alien mechs and robots. One screenshot shows a boss on an island in lava, and another one shows missiles heading for your chopper. They say you'll need to be a good shot, especially against these bosses, and you will have to pull evasive moves to dodge their attacks. The screenshots look alright, a bit blocky like you'd expect, but nothing too offensive. They've even slapped a big score of 100 on it at the bottom, so someone's clearly quite keen. It's Nintendo official magazine, so they're probably contractually obligated to be positive, aren't they? Twisted Edge Snowboarding, developed by Kemco for the N64, aims to capitalize on the snowboarding craze of winter 1998. The game offers a less serious experience than Nintendo's 1080, featuring 6 tracks, a halfpipe, and UFOs. Players can snowboard across icy bridges and perform stunts using C buttons. Competition mode includes races against 3 other boarders. Marketing highlights hazardous stunts and dazzling animation. The article speculates on the game's chances against 1080, with initial impressions suggesting it might be a challenge to surpass its rival. While the game itself looks to be fun, some reviewers suggest the game is unlikely to beat Nintendo's game without major improvements. Ogre Battle 64, a strategy RPG developed by Quest Corp, was a notable release for the Nintendo 64 in early 1999, being one of the first of its kind on the system. The game allows players to control armies within 3D environments, a feature highlighted as innovative at the time. The story follows Magnus Galland in his quest to save the Paradise Kingdom army, featuring classic fantasy elements such as knights, wizards, dragons, and witches. Gameplay involves maneuvering armies on a 3D map, utilizing a cursor for commands, and the strategic element of terrain affecting visibility. The article also highlights the impact of changing time of day and the ability to zoom out for a better overview. Battles can occur indoors as well as on outdoor fields, adding variety to the experience. Overall, the game offered a complex strategy experience, a departure from the more common platformers and racing games of the N64. Ogre Battle 64 is a real-time strategy game focusing on warfare with multiple units. Battles involve armies clashing, spell effects like sonic booms and fire, and real-time unit stat displays. The game also incorporates RPG elements, allowing characters to interact outside of battles, recruit new units, and potentially convert enemies. The game promises many battles and an epic fantasy vibe, including heroes, villains, dragons, and diverse locations. The magazine review hails it as a strong contender for the N64, noting the game's early appeal in the strategy genre. This new-gen advertisement from the N64 era promotes various accessories. The Manta Ray controller offered slow motion and turbo modes, available in transparent colors, for £19.99. An extension cable cost £6.99, while a Rumble memory pack was priced at £14.99. A bundle included GoldenEye 007 and a Rumble pack for £42.99, plus a free game case. Beyond gaming, Nugent also offered branded items like cameras, binoculars, walkie-talkies, and radios. Customers could order via mail from Excitement Direct, using a form with phone and fax numbers, reflecting the pre-internet shopping experience. Silicon Valley, Evo Search for Eden, is a puzzle-adventure game where players control a black box chip, possessing robotic animals to solve puzzles. The game, set on a mysteriously reappeared space station populated by robotic animals, has players switching between animal forms like penguins, huskies, and snow rabbits. Screenshots hint at gameplay involving a dog herding sheep and a mouse using its tail as a spike. The core mechanic is animal magic, allowing players to utilize unique abilities of each robot body. The reviewer considers it a great little puzzler, but acknowledges the difficulty in competing with games like Banjo-Kazooie. Dorema Design, known later as Rockstar North, developed the game, marking a departure from their typical style. A full review is promised for a later date. This page is all about XG2, the follow-up to Extreme G on the N64. Remember Extreme G? Bit of a Marmite game that won. Some loved it, some hated it, mostly because the bikes were like driving bricks apparently. Anyway, XG2 is looking to fix that, and it's coming out in November '98, developed by Acclaim. Looks like they've listened to the complaints, as they're talking up the improvements to the bikes, saying they've got this pivot hinge thing now so they can actually move and flex around the tracks a bit more. Power-ups are meant to be better too, which is good, because you did need a bit of oomph in the first one. They're pushing the whole shoot-'em-up angle this time, saying you can do 180-degree turns to blast enemies coming at you. Sounds like they're trying to make it more action-packed. The computer races, the cybercycles, are meant to be cleverer now as well, trying to bash you off the track, which could be interesting, or just annoying, we'll see. Yeah. From the screenshots, it looks like more of the same futuristic racing, but hopefully faster and more refined. They're showing off the weapons too, and reckon you can charge up your primary weapons and grab secondary weapons on the tracks. And apparently you can even jump your bike off the track now and go exploring the landscape if you fancy it. It's promising a lot of improvements over the original. Let's hope it delivers. XG2 features twisting tracks of terror with 12 worlds, each containing 3 tracks, playable in mirror mode. 4 tracks are highlighted: Mesa Vera, Wind Farm, Lumania and Cordillon. The game also includes a multiplayer deathmatch mode called Tanks a Lot, featuring tank-based combat on levels, which is a major improvement to the original Extreme G deathmatch. The developers believe XG2 looks visually appealing, but face fierce competition from Wipeout 64 and Fev-Zero X. This page is all about Duke Nukem, 0 Hour on the N64. Finally some proper games. It's being touted as a sequel, and they are calling Duke a super cool hero. Bit much if you ask me, but hey ho, they're banging on about these being the first proper screenshots in the magazine, not some dodgy grey market photos, which is a relief I suppose. Apparently, in this one you can actually see Duke properly, like a third-person shooter, rather than just through his eyes like in Duke Nukem 64. They're saying the plot is the same old thing, blast aliens, but now from a different viewpoint. They've got some screenshots showing off different locations, city streets looks a bit foggy, underground is your typical minecart level, and then spaceships which, well you can't have a Duke game without spaceships can you? They reckon Duke Nukem 64 was alright, but this 0 Hour is amazing and white hot, saying it looks even better with more guns and puzzles and drooling aliens. Sounds like they are pretty hyped up for it, must be honest. I'm intrigued myself, always liked a bit of Duke. This advert for Gameplay, a prominent mail-order game retailer, highlights its focus on the N64. They emphasize price, choice, quality, service, with claims of the lowest prices and free 48 hours delivery, backed by a console replacement guarantee. The ad showcases N64 bundles, including games like Mario Kart 64 and Diddy Kong Racing, a vast selection of UK N64 games, along with joypads, memory cards, and steering wheels are also featured. Furthermore, the advert details 2 ND games, offering pre-owned titles with a 90-day guarantee. An old-school order form is included. Screenshots of popular N64 titles like GoldenEye and Super Mario 64 are used to capture the essence of the era. This page showcases win-back for the N64, and it's being touted as potentially challenging GoldenEye's crown, which is a bold claim, isn't it? They're calling it a shooting masterpiece. We're introduced to Jean-Luc Cougar, sounds like a right-action hero name, who leads the SD.AT, team that's strategic covert actions team apparently in a mission to stop terrorists on a satellite station. Classic 90s action movie plot, eh? Apparently, the team's helicopter crashes, which is always a great start to any covert operation. You've got 3 hours to save the day, so no pressure then. They're making comparisons to other N64 hitters, saying if you like Turok for shooting and GoldenEye for stealth, you'll be into this. And get this, they even liken seeing your character on screen all the time to Super Mario 64. Bit of a stretch that, but I suppose they're trying to say it's more action-oriented than just a first-person shooter. There are a few screenshots, looking very polygonal, as you'd expect for the time. It mentions Lisa Roberts as another S.C.AT member, so looks like there might be some co-op action or maybe just another character. All in all, Winback is being presented as a bit of a mix of the N64's best bits, aiming for that action movie feel. We shall see if it lives up to the hype when it eventually lands in late '98. This page previews two N64 games. Winback, a shooter, is showcasing level designs like Control Center and Factory, promising varied gameplay through indoor/outdoor environments and two-player deathmatch. The reviewer is optimistic, suggesting it could be a hit for fans of GoldenEye and Turok. Next up is Let's Smash, a tennis game by Hudson Software, slated for summer '99. It emphasizes multiplayer, supporting 4-player doubles matches, and features player customization with bizarre sportswear and silly players on bizarre courts. The reviewer finds it challenging and funny, despite potential delays. Overall, it offers a light-hearted alternative to the more common shooter games. This page is all about Pokémon Stadium for the N64. Right then, Pokémon goes 3D! Seems they're well chuffed about this one, calling it gorgeous graphics and all that. Apparently by the time you're reading this magazine, it's already out in Japan, but we'll have to wait till next year to get our hands on it here. They're making a right song and dance about how massive it's gonna be, and fair enough, Pokémon was pretty big even back then. Kuricha. It's a 3D strategy game, which basically means you can finally see your Game Boy critters battling it out in proper 3D. The article mentions you use your old Game Boy Pokémon cartridges with a 64 GB pack adapter on the controller to play. Clever idea that. Gets you to buy more plastic, doesn't it? They're saying the N64 recreates the Pokémon battles in glorious 3D. We'll see about glorious, it's early N64 3D, let's not get carried away. There are some screenshots showing off the battles. You've got Onyx smashing around, Alakazam with its spoons, Kangaskhan with its kid, Machamp flexing his forearms because forearms are essential for magic attacks apparently, and Jolteon with its electrified hair. Yeah, it's Pokémon alright, just bigger and blockier than on the Game Boy. After all the shooters and that tennis game they were on about in the last page, this is a bit of a change of pace, kids will probably lap it up. This page is all about Pokémon Stadium then, still banging on about it after the last page. Dazzling Pokémon animation they're calling it, bit strong isn't it? For N64, but alright. It's a step-by-step guide to a battle, showing off Alakazam versus Pikachu. First up, they're just facing each other, Alakazam and Pikachu ready for a scrap in the stadium. Then Pikachu starts with a Thunderbolt, fair play. Next, Alakazam's not taking that lying down, throws back some multicolored bolts, psychic moves I suppose. Then Alakazam properly whacks Pikachu with a psychic attack, sending the little fella reeling apparently. And to finish it off, Alakazam hits Pikachu with so much magic, it sends him straight to sleep. Bit overkill. Warrington Dorcas down at the bottom, they're getting all hyped, saying Pokémon Stadium's on its way to Nom Towers, bigging it up as usual. Reckon they'll let us know next month if it's any good. No doubt it will, they say. Bit cheeky. Oh, and they're pointing out Charizard's the dragon, and Blastoise is the turtle, just in case anyone was confused I suppose. This page is dedicated to The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, a 3D adventure game slated for a Christmas release. Anticipation is high, especially among British Nintendo fans and worldwide Zelda enthusiasts. While the N64 wasn't dominating sales, Zelda was hugely anticipated, with toy companies capitalizing on the hype. The page features various screenshots, showcasing Link's interactions with Princess Zelda, Ganondorf's scheming, and Link's combat skills. A new location, an Aztec-inspired underground temple, introduces a zombie dance sequence. This shows Link exploring a room with a Triforce, encountering a seemingly harmless old man who transforms into a zombie. Other screenshots depict Link in a graveyard battling ghosts. The article concludes with overwhelming excitement, predicting the game will be revolutionary, possibly the game of the century. This advertisement from WCOT Entertainment Direct focuses on their mail-order Nintendo 64 game service. They offer massive deals on both new and used N64 consoles and games, listing popular titles like Banjo-Kazooie and 1080 Snowboarding, with new games priced at £39.99. The ad also features a section on Nintendo 64 cheats and tips, categorized by game genre, promising help for stuck players via premium rate phone calls. The lower half of the page is dedicated to a competition with a wide array of prizes, from Discman and Game Boy cameras to mobile phones, TVS, and World Cup shirts. Entrants were encouraged to call premium rate numbers to win prizes. The ad is a quintessential example of 90s magazine marketing, emphasizing deals, cheats, and the chance to win various consumer goods. Top Gear Overdrive for the N64 is presented as a worthy sequel to Top Gear Rally, boasting improved gameplay despite similar graphics. The game introduces power-ups like nitro boosts and turbo launch pads, alongside on- and off-road racing with shortcuts. A wider selection of cars is available, including powerful Detroit V8s and European exotics. The game features 7 diverse tracks, ranging from city streets to countryside and mountain environments. Weather effects add variety, and you can even race summer courses in winter. The review encourages reader participation, asking for feedback on Top Gear Rally and Overdrive. The goal is to involve the audience and gauge their enthusiasm for the new racer. This page is split between 2 upcoming games, one is Shadowgate 64, and the other is Top Gear Overdrive. Shadowgate 64, they're calling it a 3D adventure, out early next year, 1999. It's described as a swords and sorcery, Dungeons and Dragons type game, a sequel to the old Super NES Shadowgate. Apparently it's set hundreds of years later. You play as an elf called Del, battling evil magic, first-person adventure, like Turok or GoldenEye but with swords and magic instead of guns. Should be interesting. They've got a few screenshots, showing spellbooks, a dark alley and Castle Shadowgate. Graphics are said to be gorgeous. Then there's Top Gear Overdrive, a 3D racer by Kemco, due late 1998. It's all about multiplayer racing. Race your mates, they're saying, 4 players this time, expanding on Top Gear Rally's 2-player. They've got some screen grabs of the races, looks like more tarmac action. They're still playing Top Gear Rally at their offices. Reckon Overdrive could be a winner judging by the screenshots. For Shadowgate 64 though, they're saying it's hard to tell what it'll be like from just these shots. More info to come. Super Robot Spirits, a Transformer-esque robot fighting game, is coming to the N64 from Banpresto in late '98, though it's reported to be a button masher with slowdown issues. Mystical Ninja Goemon 2, a side-scrolling platformer by Konami, is also in development for a release next year. Tokyo Electron Devices is releasing PhotoPie, a camera and cart for the N64 that allows photo viewing, puzzle creation, and postcard making. Buster Move 3 is coming to the N64 with improved graphics, sound, and a 4-player mode. Quest 64 will have a UK release, improving upon the imported version with enhanced exploration and less combat tedium. Dizayman, a shooting game editor, allows players to create their own shoot-'em-ups. Finally, Charlie Blast's Challenge, a puzzle game with Bomberman similarities, is newly unveiled with no gameplay details yet. This mail-order advertisement from Special Reserve showcases games and consoles of the late 90s. The focus is on the Nintendo 64, with bundles including a gold controller and a GoldenEye pack. A tenner off any N64 item was a promotion. The ad lists popular N64 games like Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye, alongside other consoles such as the Super NES, Game Boy, and even a selection of PlayStation titles including Gran Turismo. There was also a section for the Pocket Game Boy camera and printer, plus a PC system called the Max P2300. The ad also has key dates for upcoming game releases. Special Reserve had physical stores, and offered a Special Reserve Club membership. This Nintendo magazine is hyping its next issue, promising to be the biggest and best official publication. They pledge to cover all things Nintendo 64, deliver exclusive news and images, and provide easy-to-read content, reliable cheats, and trustworthy reviews. The issue heavily promotes Micro Machines 64 Turbo, detailing gameplay, cars, weapons, tracks, and characters. It also previews Mortal Kombat 4 and Biofreaks, highlighting their violent gameplay. Furthermore, the magazine features a total test for various Nintendo games, and a review of F1 Grand Prix. The issue promises game guides and cheat codes, offering a standard mix of previews, reviews, and player aids for N64 enthusiasts. This page screams late 90s and 64 excitement, doesn't it? Big, bold yellow lettering shouting, "Watch out! Turok 2 coming at ya!" They're really pushing Turok 2 as the main attraction here, with a menacing Trex, and Turok himself looking ready for action. They're promising to uncover all the levels, every enemy, guns galore, and multiplayer, the classic selling points back then, especially for a shooter like Turok. It's got that little red tag saying, "Go buy it the 26th of September too," so we know when they expect you to rush out and grab it. Down below, there's a tips section. Looks like they're covering Beat Your Mates at Mortal Kombat 4, which is timely given they previewed it on the last page, and top Forsaken multiplayer tips. Forsaken was a decent enough shooter if you were into that sort of thing. Then there's more Banjo secrets and hidden extras for Banjo-Kazooie, which everyone loved back then. That bear and bird were everywhere. And lastly, a tips book for free ISS 98 and WWF Warzone guides. International Superstar Soccer 98 and WWF Warzone, yes, solid games for their time. Dratase. Right at the bottom it teases its special offers Club Mario, so I guess there's more on that on the next page. All in all, a pretty standard page hyping up the big N64 releases and offering some tips for current games. This article highlights Bomberman, Heroes number 4, as a major Nintendo hero. It celebrates his early success on the Game Boy, but particularly his SNES hits, especially Super Bomberman, lauded for its multiplayer capabilities as a groundbreaking title for its time. The article mentions multiple SNES sequels, and a greatest hits list including various Bomberman titles, even the odd Wario Blast. Bomberman 64 on the N64 received a less enthusiastic review. The article then pivots to Bomberman Hero, a Japan-only title promising adventure elements. The article concludes with a mention of a potential collaboration between Hudson, Nintendo, and a suggestion of a Mario and Bomberman game, highlighting the potential for a unique and chaotic experience. This page is a bit of a laugh, innit? It's a full-page advert for the Game Boy Pocket. They've stuck it in one of those red boxes you see for fire alarms, with "in case of emergency break glass" written above it. Bit dramatic, even for Nintendo. The slogan underneath is Game Boy, protecting the planet from boredom, which is pretty spot on actually when you think about how many hours we all wasted on those things back in the day. Just a simple, bold advert really. Reminds you how big the Game Boy was back then. They didn't need to show any games, just the Pocket itself was enough to sell it. The next page brings us to a full-on advert for Mission Impossible on the N64. Christ, they were really pushing this one, weren't they? Big yellow lettering, dramatic world map background with a burning fuse running across it, all very action movie. Expect the impossible, is the tagline. A bit on the nose, but hey, it's Mission Impossible. They're shouting about the release date too. Your mission starts September 11th. Which is a bit of a weird choice of date looking back now, isn't it? Then they're daring you to accept it. Bit dramatic again. Below that, they've got 3 little screenshots to tempt you. Looks like classic stealth stuff, lasers to avoid in one, some bloke creeping around in an office in another, and Ethan Hunt doing his usual cool pose in the last one. One of the screenshots even labels it IMF Headquarters Langley, so they're trying to keep it authentic to the movie, I suppose. Paramount and Ocean logos are at the bottom, reminding you who's behind it all. Standard stuff really, trying to build the hype for what was probably hoping to be the next big movie tie-in game. Whether it lived up to the impossible billing is another question entirely. Wasn't exactly GoldenEye, was it?